Ugly Betty co-stars share How to Succeed in Biz at Kennedy Center. Michael Urie and Becky Newton star in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying at the Kennedy Center. WTOP, Jason Fraley, Washington. Rarely does a Broadway musical win both the Tony and Pulitzer Prize. But that's exactly what happened with How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, winning 7 Tonys, including Best Musical, Lead Actor, Robert Morse, and Featured Actor, Charles Nelson Reilly, not to mention Matthew Broderick's win for the 1995 revival. This week, the musical comedy arrives at the Kennedy Center for 7 shows Wednesday to Sunday, featuring a special Ugly Betty reunion between Michael Urie and Becky Newton. It's absolutely hysterical and the music is to die for. Urie told WTOP, "It is a satire about the world of big business as it was in the 60s and as it kind of is now. It was a world run by men where women were the objects of their desire, Mad Men style. Every office had a bar card." Based on Shepard Mead's 1952 book, the story follows J. Pierpont Finch, Skylar Austin, a Manhattan window washer who climbs the corporate ladder by reading the handbook, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Along the way, Finch romances Rosemary Pilkington, Betsy, play the boss's nephew, who's basically evil and crawling his way up the ladder, while Finch shows up and bounds his way up the ladder, so he becomes my rival and I do everything I can to take him down. Urie said. Becky's character is the last character to show up. She is the big boss's side piece. She shows up and sends the entire office, all of the men, into disarray. While the show's themes were revolutionary in 1962, they are still oddly relevant now in 2018. While the men ran the business, the women ran the men. Urie said. That's why the play still holds up all these years later, because even at the time it was satirical. You dust off some of these old musicals and you have to address the current climate. Like My Fair Lady and Carousel are playing now on Broadway, and they've had to tailor those productions for the. Ours doesn't have to be tailored, because it was always a comment on sexism. While the show features underlying social commentary, its main goal is hilarity on the surface. The sensibility is funny, Newton said. Michael and I have both done a lot of TV comedy and that can be really subjective. My husband will be cracking up at something and I won't get it. But this particular show, the style, the look, the vibe, it feels like it is universally funny. Playwrights Abe Burrows, Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert craft witty dialogue exchanges. Finch observes this company interacting and you see these two guys talking. Urie said. Hey Jenkins, did you get my memo? What memo? My memo about memos. We're sending out too many memos. It's got to stop, and Jenkins responds, all right, I'll send out a memo. Not only is the dialogue comical, Frank Loesser provides equally funny music and lyrics. It's one of the first musicals I know where the songs are funny. Urie said. The showstopper is Brotherhood of Men, this incredible 11 o'clock number where Finch is in big trouble and basically turns around the entire office to be on his side by the end. Dennis Jones is our choreographer and he has created this amazing dance. Truly the definition of a showstopper. Other memorable songs include Been a Long Day, I Believe in You, and Coffee Break. Coffee Break is this very funny song where it's time for a coffee break but there's no coffee. Urie said. It was originally choreographed by Bob Fosse. The coffee break number really is just a funny song about a bunch of office mates who can't get coffee, but because it was a Fosse number, it was this huge dance number. We're not doing the Bob Fosse choreography, but it leaves room for Dennis Jones, our choreographer, to do something special. In the end, it all comes down to the comedic timing of its cast. If Urie and Newton's offstage chemistry is any indication, expect a laugh-out-loud experience at the Kennedy Center. We had a very special working relationship on Ugly Betty, Urie said. We became such fast friends and had such good chemistry on that show that they started writing for us. They'd give us 3 lines and we would turn it into 10, and the same thing is happening here. When I see Michael on stage, my whole body just relaxes and I get the giggles on the inside, Newton said. Michael is trained and he went to Juilliard, so if I just follow Michael around, usually things work out for me. It's sort of what's going on here in DC. I think Edie and Bud have a relationship in this show that's new. We can't hide our affection for each other. Find more details on the Kennedy Center website. Hear our full chat with Urie and Newton below. Like WTOP on Facebook and follow at Top on Twitter to engage in conversation about this article and others. Copyright 2018 WTOP. All rights reserved. This website is not intended for users located within the European Economic Area. Advertiser content.